Okay, Delaney, we're done. All right, students, teachers, welcome back. We have a lot to get through for this period, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully you all have or are in the process of getting on your devices and logging onto your PowerSchool account. Before we start with putting in your classes, I would like to ask that you all follow along and don't go ahead, because we've seen what happens when people go ahead is then you miss what we're talking about and then you'll come back and have questions. So for those of you who were here last year, this process should look familiar to you once we get going. But again, let's all stay together and go through each subject one by one, so that at the end, everyone has very clean course requests. Okay, so at this time, I'll give you guys another minute or two to get your devices going, log on to your PowerSchool account and have your course request form out so that you remember what classes you want to enter. And we're going to go through the process of entering those classes in about one more minute. Also on the course request form, you can go to the next slide, Ms. Malini, and the next one. We did give you space to write in your classes so that this will help you get an idea of what your schedule could look like. We're going to make every effort not to give you, was I doing that? Not to give you all of your core classes during the same terms. So again, nothing is going to come out perfectly, I'm sure, but we're going to make every effort to make sure you don't have English, science, math, history all at the same time, because that could be overwhelming, even though you are used to doing that now. So use the sample schedule on your form as a tool for you to visualize what classes you will be taking and what classes you need to enter into PowerSchool. Excuse me. Okay, next slide, Ms. Malini. So we just gave examples of each grade level. So regarding home period, home period is available for students who are going to be seniors. You must have at least a 2.75 9 through 12 GPA by the end of summer school in order to be eligible for home period, and at least 36 credits. So that's your eligibility for. There actually is another eligibility for home period. You have to have taken at least one advanced honors, AP, CCTE, or college course over the course of your high school career, or be enrolled in one at the same time, which most of you already have. But if you have not, if you do request a home period, then you will have to also request one of those classes. Okay, so before we get started, here are some things to look out for. Next one. Once you log on to your PowerSchool account, you're going to see your course request page. Those of you who are behind in credits, you may see the wrong page. So if you're a 10th grader, but you only have 9th grade credits, you failed a lot of classes last year, first semester, the classes that are default to you are not going to match up. They're going to be what PowerSchool has your grade level as, and PowerSchool determines grade level based on the number of credits you have. So you're going to have to look for your classes in this section that says out of grade level. All the classes are in out of grade level. So if there's a class you're looking for you're not finding it in the grade level appropriate place, it'll be in the out of grade level area. And I'll talk more about that again. We just wanted to bring that up in the beginning. Okay, you can skip that one. Okay, keep going. So also, as we're going through, as you're choosing your classes, you just need to be really, really careful and pay attention to the names of classes because they're not always next to each other. For in this example, Math 2A is not right next to Math 2B. Advanced is in the middle. So pay really close attention to what courses you are picking and match up. I'll get more into that in a minute too. Okay, keep going. Okay, so go ahead and get logged into PowerSchool if you're not already. Obviously, we can't see what's going on, so I'm really hoping that everybody is able to get logged on and that you are with us. Also, we have examples of 11th grade classes. Obviously, we couldn't give examples of every grade level just in the interest of time, but we will discuss each grade level courses. So your screen will look a little bit different than what we show you here. Okay, next one. Once you're logged into PowerSchool, go ahead and click on class registration. And if we do have any technical issues along the way, or we find classes that are missing, I did ask Raphael to be on the call so we can fix those things right away. So someone please let me know if you notice anything that isn't right. But Raphael did amazing in getting all the classes in that are on the card, so they should match up. Okay, so click class registration. And you should get a screen that looks like this. So again, if you are credit deficient, it may not match up your grade level. So you're going to have to find your classes in the out of grade level area. Okay, so this is the registration page that everybody should be on. Next slide. Okay, so now we are actually going to start entering your classes. We're going to start with history. It goes in order of A through G. So if you're going into 10th grade, you can see on your card and also on your screen, your two options for history are world history or advanced world history. For 11th grade, your choices are Identity Agency U.S. History, Honors Identity Agency U.S. History, AP U.S. History, or City College Black Studies and Chicano Studies. Mr. Gendron, has anyone else is having that issue? Maybe put it in the chat and then he can look at it on the spot. Okay, moving on. If you are going into 12th grade, then your options for history are to take government and economics. Each one will be a 1-quarter class. Something else to mention, we kind of are still going to use the term semesters and quarters a little bit interchangeably, except when it comes to college classes, because the classes that you're taking are still technically semester classes. We're just on a quarter schedule. Okay, so I know that's confusing, but it does come into play here. So Gov and Econ, you have 1 quarter of each class. If you want to take AP Econ, you'll have AP Econ Micro and AP Econ Macro. And you also have to take a quarter of government. So factor that into your schedule if you want to take AP Econ. You have to take government separately because government is not embedded in AP Econ. And then there's the poli-sci option that we talked about earlier. So Political Science 101 will take the whole first semester, and then 102 would take the whole second semester. Okay, next slide. So to enter your class, you're going to click on the little pencil that's the edit icon next to history. And for you, it will say 10th history, 11th history, or 12th history. Click on the pencil. And then you're going to see all of your class choices. So if we did our job correctly, you'll see your appropriate grade level choices in that box. So again, if you want to take a college class, you can choose Black Studies 140A or B, Chicano Studies 140A or B, or both. AP US History, okay, I'm looking at our example. Our example doesn't match what you see. You see Identity Agency US History and Honors Identity Agency US History. So if you're taking anything except for a college class, you need to be sure to pick 1 and 2. So that's going to be, normally we would have said first semester and second semester, but 1 quarter, 2 quarters. So make sure you pick 2 classes that match up. If you choose Black Studies or Chicano Studies, you can just take one if you want to, that will meet the requirement, or you can take both if you want to take the whole sequence and get an additional class out of the way for college. Okay, so make sure you pick 1 and 2 for your history class. Oh, thank you, Miss Mulaney. Make sure after you check the boxes, you click OK, and then that should take you back to the previous page. Okay, so now you should see your requests. On top where it says history, you should have 1 request if you only want 1 college class, or 2 requests if you want 2 college classes, or you have regular history, should be 2 requests. Ms. Nemechek, you have your hand up. Can someone unmute Ms. Nemechek? Okay.
I have a question. So for next year, I'm supposed to, it's too quiet. Next year I'm supposed to be a senior, but it shows that I'm gonna be a junior because I'm backed up on some of my freshman grade credits. So I wanted to know, like, how can I put my senior classes in PowerSchool?
Okay, so I did address this before, but I'll say it again because I know we're in different places of getting logged on. But if you are seeing a different grade level when you click on that box, you need to go to where it says out of grade level. And that's where you're going to find probably most of your classes. So if you're going to be a junior, but you're seeing world history, you need to go to the out of grade level area and then find Identity Agency 1 and Identity Agency 2, or whichever class you want to take. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, where were we at? So everyone should have a history class or 2 chosen at this point. Okay, so we'll move on to English. And you guys let me know if we're going too fast. We can slow down. So English, if you are going into 10th grade, you have the choice between English 3-4 or Advanced English 3-4. 11th grade, American Lit is the standard 11th grade class. And then the honors version of the class is Honors African American Literature. And then we have AP Language. 12th grade, Contemporary Voices is kind of our standard 12th grade English class. Expository Reading and Writing is also a regular 12th grade English class. It's not weighted, but it is a class that emphasizes writing a little bit more to help prepare you for college level writing. It was a class that was actually developed by San Diego State in order to help students be prepared for college level writing once they get there. And then there's AP English Literature, if you want the AP class, or City English 101X. And the reason it's called 101X is because it has a support level built into it. So you actually are taking English 101 and English 31 together so that you get that extra support so that you can be successful passing the class. Okay, so you have your English choice. Click on the pencil, the edit pencil, to enter your English choice. Remember to select both semesters or quarters, the 1 and 2 version of each class. The only exception to that would be for City English 101. You do only have to take 101. That counts for your whole year of senior English. So it's an option for you to take English 205 as well, which gives you your additional English class for college. Mr. Cisneros, I see your hand up.
So if they take 2 semesters of art, can they take 2 semesters of ceramics for quarter 1 and 2 art, and then 3 and 4 ceramics?
Yes, if it works out that it's offered in the schedule that way, yes, because they will have met the prerequisite. But we're on English right now. Let's try to keep everybody on the same place.
Okay.
Because I'm just concerned if they go ahead, they're going to miss, what we did before.
All
okay,
right.
So everybody should have their English classes chosen. Click OK once you've selected those classes. And now on the screen, you should see both your history and your English class choices. So we will then move on to, I believe math is next. Okay, so math is one that is tricky. You need math 1 and math 2 for sure. So if you're in 9th grade, or I suppose you could be in 10th, if you're taking math 1 right now, you're going to take math 2 next year. So you're going to choose Math 2A and 2B. If you're in Math 2 now, that's where you have choices for next year. And hopefully your teachers have gone over those choices. You can choose Math 3, Advanced Math 3, Data Science and Statistics, or Discrete Math. If you're already in Math 3 or one of the equivalent classes, then you can go into AP Stats. You can go into, these aren't in any particular order, by the way. You can go into Pre-Calculus, Honors Pre-Calculus. You can go into Mesa Math 141 and 150. You can go into Data Science 1-2. Even if you took Math 3, you still can go into Data Science 1-2 or Discrete Math. They don't have to be taken in that particular order. If you're in Data Science 1-2, you can take Data Science 3-4, which is an honors class. If you're in Pre-Cal now, you can go into AP Calc, or you can take Math 141 and 150. So you have a lot of choices in math. And again, if you're not 100% sure right now, you can definitely talk to your math teachers and get their input. Just for the sake of today, go ahead and put in what you're leaning towards. And also for math, we do also want to mention that you're going to have to pass one level to move on to the next. So if you're in Math 1 right now and you're failing, you're going to have to go to summer school to make sure you pass Math 1 in order to take Math 2 next year, or you're going to find yourself right back in Math 1. Same goes for Math 2. You need to pass these classes to move on to the next level. And we're really going to stick by that, especially because we'll be on quarters and, you know, we have more time to make sure that happens. So make sure you're passing your math classes in order for you to be able to take your next level of your math classes. Oh, Ms. Stoffer, go ahead. Can you unmute her, Ms. Malini? Okay.
Hello. I have a student who asked if they have to take math, if they already have the 3 years required. Do they
Good
have to take it for their senior year?
That's a good question. So you do not have to take math if you've met the 3 years, although we do strongly encourage you to stay in math. I did mention earlier today that colleges really want to see at least that 4th year of math if you're planning to apply to college. So we definitely encourage you to keep taking math. You do not have to after the 3 years, but it's a really good idea to stay in math. Even if you're thinking military, possibly, you're going to be taking the ASVAB at some point. So you're going to want to have, you know, your math skills be fresh and not, you know, you've taken it 9 months or a year ago. So we definitely encourage you to keep taking math. Also, you can double up on math if we have space. Again, just like we talked about earlier, you can request to take 2 math classes. So if you want to take Pre-Cal 1 and 2 during quarter 1 and 2, and then move on to, well, that won't work because we're not going to have AP Calc quarter 3 and quarter 4, but we are going to look into having Math 141 possibly. But if you wanted to take Math 3 and you wanted to take Data Science, or you want to take Data Science 1, 2, and then 3, 4, if it works out in the schedule, you'll be able to do that. It is not a guarantee, but we will try to work those things out depending on course requests. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so go ahead and click on the pencil for math, and then you will see your math options, which should look pretty similar for everybody. So just keep in mind, this is where it kind of skips around. So make sure you're paying close attention to the regular and the advanced courses. Math 2A is not right next to Math 2B. There's advanced in the middle. So pick the first semester class and the second semester class. If you want to take Math 141, but you're not sure on Math 150, I would just go ahead and request both. And then you don't have to commit to taking 150. We can figure that out later, depending on how you do in 141. Or if you know for sure 141 is all you want to take, then don't pick Math 150. But other classes should have a semester 1 and a semester 2 class picked so that you have 2 requests, or 4 if you want to double up. Oh, there's a question. I think that's a student. Hashim?
Can you repeat it?
Repeat which part? What do you need me to repeat?
The math part.
The math part? Okay, go back to the previous slide, please. So you're in the math section. Your math options, again, will be better explained by your math teachers. But if you're in Math 1, you move on to Math 2. Math 2 goes to Math 3. or math 2 goes to math 3 or data science and stats or discrete math. And then if you're already in one of those, you can move on to pre-calculus or math 141 or take AP stats. Then you're going to click the pencil to edit, add your classes, and then don't forget to click OK. Okay, so for math, you can select up to 4 classes. So if you wanted the 1 class, you'll see 2 classes there, first semester, second semester, first quarter 1, quarter 2, however we look at it. And then if you wanted 4 classes, you'll see 4 classes there. Can you go to the next one? There. Where it's circled, you'll have 4 classes if you chose 4, 2 classes if you chose 2. Okay, moving on to science. All right, so 10th, current 9th and 10th graders, you do have to have chemistry, physics, and biology, those 3 classes. Current juniors can take chemistry or physics and take a different science class for their 3rd year. That is still in effect for you only, but starting with the class of 2025, you all have to take bio, chem, and physics for graduation. And some of our 10th graders right now are in chemistry, some are in physics. So you need to pick the one you haven't had yet for next year. You can either choose, if it's chemistry you need, regular chemistry or honors chemistry. All 10th graders will choose a chemistry class. So next year, we won't have you guys split. That just happened because we were in a transition for a couple of years of getting this sequence underway. So 10th graders will pick chemistry or honors chem. 11th graders will pick physics, advanced physics, or if you haven't taken chemistry, chemistry or honors chem. And if you're going into 12th grade and you've already met your 3-year science requirement, you do not have to pick a science class. You can take one as an elective. And if you're going into 10th or 11th, you can request to take an additional science class if you do want to double up on science. So all of those options, including the new electives we talked about and the old ones, should be there when you click on science. So next slide. So click the pencil next to science. And all of those options should come up for you. So we've added AP Bio, Marine Science. Is that it? I think that's all we added, right, for science. And then you'll also see Chemistry, Physics, AP Physics. If you're going to take AP Physics, you should be in, for math, you should be going into pre-cal or have already completed pre-cal to take AP Physics, just because you do need some higher level math skills for that class. So check the boxes next to your science classes. Make sure you click the 1 and the 2 for that class. If you want a second class, make sure you click the 1 and the 2 for that class, and then click OK. So in this example, the student chose 2 science classes for next year, chemistry and AP Physics. For you, you might see 2 choices if you chose 2, or you'll just see the 1 class, or if you've already met your science requirement and you do not wish to take science, you will see no classes there. Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to LOTE, language other than English. So remember, we talked about the requirement earlier. You have to pass the 2nd year equivalent for a foreign language. So some of you might have jumped right into Spanish 3-4, Filipino 3-4 if you were already native speakers. 3-4 satisfies the graduation requirements. You don't actually have to take 2 years. You have to take 2 years or the equivalent. So you might have already passed this requirement by passing Spanish 4, Filipino 4, any other world language if you were at a different school, or passing the LOTE exam. But also remember, we talked about earlier, we do recommend you take a 3rd year equivalent or higher class of a language, especially if you're going to be pursuing a 4-year university. Okay, so click on, if you've already satisfied this requirement and you're not going to take a language other than English, you do not have to put anything here. You can skip this part, but for everyone else, click on the pencil, the edit pencil, and add the, we don't have a slide for that one, I guess. Add the, or you'll see your world language options. Just make sure that you pick the semester 1 and semester 2, both classes that go together. You also can double up in this area. So if you haven't taken a language at all and you want to get both years done, you can request to do that. And as long as we have space available in the master schedule, you'll be able to do that. So if you don't speak a language and you want to knock out both of your years next year, you could take Spanish 1-2 and 3-4, or Filipino 1-2 and 3-4. And remember, if you already speak Spanish and you're in Spanish 1-2, we want you to take Spanish for Spanish speakers next year, because that class is going to be geared differently toward people that are native speakers. And that will also satisfy your 2-year requirement. And then after that, you can go on to Spanish 5-6 if you choose. Okay, so we didn't have the slides for the rest of LOTE, but once you picked your LOTE classes, click OK, and then you'll see them showing on your screen. And then we will move on to VAPA. Visual and Performing Arts. So in order for you to graduate from our district, you need 1 year of a visual and performing arts class, 2 semesters or now 2 quarters, and it has to be the same class. So you can't take like Art 1 and Choir 2. It has to be 1 full year, which is now 2 quarters of the same class. So if you wish to take a VAPA class, if you still need to meet that requirement, go ahead and click on the pencil. You don't have to take a VAPA class. If you either have met the requirement or you're going to wait until the following year, you don't have to take one. This is up to you. So click on the pencil if you're going to take a VAPA class. Also want to mention, we have you choose 5 electives. So number them on your paper 1 through 5 so we know what your backups are. You won't put your backups in PowerSchool. You're only putting your top choices to come up to 16 classes, 8 classes, 16 credits. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, some VAPA classes may be found in other sections. So if you keep going, if you're looking for Intro to Design, which is a VAPA class, that's going to be under the CCTE pathway. So in the actual VAPA section, you're just going to see the classes that are just designated as visual and performing arts. Next. Oh, okay. So do we do CCTE after this? I forget. Okay, I think that must come later. So if you picked a VAPA class, make sure you picked, and you can pick several VAPA classes. We left that open because you're going to have space in your schedule for multiple electives. So you can pick as many electives, as many VAPA courses as you would like to that fits in your schedule. Just make sure you pick a 1 and a 2 for each class. Mr. Falvo, your hand is up.
Yes, a question from earlier from one of the students, and that was about taking music in middle school. Does that count?
It does not.
Thank you.
Yep. The only classes from middle school that count are your foreign language classes and if you were in integrated math 1 or higher. Okay, there was another hand, but that must have been the same question. Ms. Stauffer?
A student was looking for the ukulele class and couldn't find it. Is it listed there?
It
Or
should
is
be
it
on the
listed somewhere
very
else?
last page.
The last page.
Tell us if you find it. If not, we can, Raphael can make sure it's there, but it should be on the last page of the VAPA courses.
She says it's not there. I'll try and look.
What grade is that student in?
Going into 12th?
Okay, Raphael, can you double check that? Make sure ukulele's there. Yeah, those classes are in alphabetical order, so it should be on the last page. If it's not, we will update that momentarily. Mr. Tabiendo?
Yeah, I have a senior looking for biology, regular biology class.
So they can find that in the out of grade level courses.
We looked in out of grade level and we only found biology AP.
Oh, okay. Raphael, can you check on that one too? That's why we have him here.
Okay.
So we need bio 1, 2 in the out of grade level courses. So hopefully shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, moving on to PE. Okay, moving on to PE. So as we talked about earlier, 10th graders will have to take PE all year. 11th and 12th graders can take PE as an elective or if you are still missing credits. So if you need to take PE, click on the little pencil to edit and to add your classes. So this is where it's going to be a little tricky. So if you are going into 10th grade and you want to take PE strength and conditioning, you're just going to pick PE strength and conditioning 1, 2. And then I will put your other 2 classes in because the system doesn't allow you to pick it twice. So to have it all year. So pick PE strength and conditioning 1, 2. If you want the team multi-sports, pick that 1, 2. If you want the drill team cheer core class, I believe you only select that one time. If you want to take ROTC for the whole year, you're going to put in, if you're in ROTC 1, 2 now, you're going to put in ROTC 3, 4, 5, 6. If you've never taken ROTC, you're going to put in ROTC 1, 2, 3, 4. And then athletics PE we talked about earlier. If you play one of the sports that's listed on your card, I added golf later. So on the card that is in your Google Classroom, it does list golf. And let me see which one is which. Boys golf is going to be 5712 underline H, and girls golf is going to be 5712 underline I. Oh wait, we didn't have I, so scratch that. It's J. They skipped the letter I think, because it looks like a 1. So boys golf is H and girls golf is J. Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, we had a question about where the creative writing class was.
Okay, that's going to be under other electives when we get to electives.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I know PE is a little confusing. We can clean these up if we need to when we meet with you. So just do the best you can for your PE classes. Mr. Fogelman, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have a student trying to sign up for yearbook and it's only showing up with like one option. Does that count for all 4 quarters, that one section?
So we're about to get to electives.
Okay.
But yes, yearbook, I believe we used the underline 2 course number. Is there an underline 2 or is it just a single course number?
It's just a single course number.
Okay, so then if we didn't use the underline 2, I forget if we did or not, then they would need to put it in. Just put it in once and I'll have to add it the other terms because they're only allowed to put it in one time using the system.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. I know, it's all fun. Ms. Sobo. Can someone unmute Ms. Sobo?
There we go. I have a student who is looking for the unified PE course and we could not find it under PE.
Okay, so the unified course, we are using the 5755 course number. I forget what it's called, but they should look for 5755. Do you see that? Do they see that?
Do you see that?
5755 and 5756.
So 5755 and 5756.
Yes, for unified PE.
Oh, yeah, there we go. These two.
Okay.
Individual sports 1, 2.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Thank you. Individual sports 1 and 2, all set. Thank you.
Mr. Cisneros?
Yeah, what is 5760 multi-team PE? One of my students is asking what that is.
So, oh, I don't have that in front of me. That one is 57. So 5759 and 5760 go together. So if you want to focus on more like the team activities, like when PE does basketball, volleyball, whatever it is that they do, I don't know because I'm not out there.
Yeah, so it's like sports.
Yeah, sports, focus on that one. Or if you want to focus on working out, conditioning, working in the weight room, that would be the strength and conditioning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. House?
Sorry if you said this. Do you want the students to enter in just 16 credits or 18 credits right now?
16. Unless they're taking a college class, they'll have more credits.
Okay,
And
But 8 classes total though.
Yes, 8 classes. And with this PE situation where they can only enter 1, 2, if they're going into 10th grade, they're actually going to look like they're short, but they're not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on, Miss Malini. Okay, so I'm sure we already did that. So make sure you add your PE classes, click OK. So now we're going to go to, did we skip CCTE? You don't have a slide for CCTE. Okay. And I don't have the actual thing up, but if you want to take a CCTE class, look into that section. All the classes are listed. Remember the document we shared earlier where, and also on your card, it also lists all of your classes. Remember to choose classes in the right order. So you always start with the beginning class, the foundational class, then you move on to the next class, and finally the capstone or advanced class. Your card is missing the culinary arts management classes, Hungry Tiger, but they are in Power School for you to choose. So if you wanted to take Hungry Tiger for the whole school year, you would choose culinary arts management 1, 2, and 3, 4. Or if you're already in culinary arts this year as 1, 2, you would pick 3, 4, and 5, 6 next year. So if you're choosing CCTE courses, what? I know. If you're choosing CCTE courses, just make sure that you're really careful about which one you take and make sure you take them in the right order. Miss Dunn, you have your hand up?
Why on online lab does it say 0 credits? Why on online lab does it say that iHigh has 0 credits?
So the online lab class itself does not count for any credits, but the classes you take online is where you'll get the credits. So for example, if you have to make up English 1 from 9th grade, the online lab class itself isn't going to give you credit, but when we put you in the class on iHigh, which the program is called Ingenuity, and you take English 1 there, then when you get a grade for that class, you'll get the credit. So if you do select online lab because you need to make up credits, you're going to have less than 16 credits scheduled in your schedule as well. Okay, so the rest of your credits to get to 16 are going to be those electives. So all the electives on your card are in Power School, either under the CCTE section, the VAPA section, or the other elective section. Somebody earlier was asking about creative writing. It should be in the other electives section. If you can't find it, let me know. If there's anything on the card that students are not seeing in Power School, let us know. We will add that on the spot. Mr. Tabiendo.
On electives,
Mhm.
some of the students are wondering if the auto body classes count as art.
Okay, they do not.
Do they fulfill the art credit?
No, the only class that counts for art on the CCTE pathway is Intro to Design.
That's the, okay. There was both sides. We had auto body and then intro design.
Okay,
Answers
thank
both questions.
Okay. I also forgot to mention some of our new courses we don't have course numbers for, so we're using temporary course numbers. So if you're choosing financial math, for example, that's going to be 9051. It's a ZZ placeholder, and you only can put in 1 term, but you will actually have the class for 2 terms. We will add that to we will mass load that once we get the course number. And then the same with creative writing. We're using 9050. That's a ZZ placeholder until we get a course number for that. And then also discrete math has a temporary course number until we get that course number. So that's just going to be some digital elective class when you see that. So make sure you look at the course number that's on your card and that it matches in Power School. Let's see. Oh, and then for the Asian and Pacific Islanders elective, we're using the GlobePed course number temporarily until we get a course number for that class if it's approved. So I believe all the other course numbers should match up what you see in Power School. Mr. Newman?
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hi, so I apologize if I've missed this. So my 9th graders are trying to sign up for their 10th grade year, and it's my understanding they need a year of PE next year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and does that mean that they sign up for 4 PE classes to span the full year?
So they will have 4 PE classes, but right now they're only going to be able to put in 2 because of the limitations we have within Power School. Unless they're taking ROTC, then they can put in all 4 quarters.
I see. So does that mean then that they should only sign up for a total of 14 classes for the school year?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
great. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
So we will continue to take questions. I just want to mention before the period ends that students should continue to work on this until you have 16 credits. If you're signing up for college classes, you might have more than that. If you have iHigh, you might have less than that. We will go over your course request with you when we meet with you individually for articulation, which starts next week. And additionally, we will get back on this Zoom during 6th period. So 6th period, we would like teachers to check in with students and see if anyone had any trouble. Make sure they all have 16 classes or credits. And if they need help, they can jump back on this Zoom. Okay, Mr. Newman, did you have another question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Donovan?
Yeah, a student who is a 10th grader right now and would like to take the City College Black Studies class for her junior social studies requirement would also like to take the Mesa Poli-Sci sequence at the same time. Is that allowable?
Generally, no. But if there is a unique situation, they can definitely talk to us about it, and then we can see if it is something that we would do for them.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and also the discrete math option. Is there any way to sign up for that right now? We couldn't find a code.
Yes, I did mention that. It has a temporary code right now because we don't have the course number for that. It's called digital elective. Let me see what that number was. Discrete math is, excuse me, 8967 and 8968. Mr. Meyer? Can somebody unmute Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, two questions. One is if English 205 fulfills the senior English requirement, and the other one, a student says that she cannot find the creative writing under where you said it was.
Okay, so English 101 counts for senior English, and English, it is a prerequisite to 205. So if they want to take 205, they're basically taking that as an elective for high school, and it counts for their second English class in college. Can anyone verify whether creative writing is there or not, or if Rafael could check on that? That's the, oh, you know what? That's probably because we're using the ZZ placeholder. It's not called creative writing right now because we don't have the course number. They're just going to put in number 9050.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Gendron? Can someone unmute Mr. Gendron? There he is.
Yes, I have a student that can't find home class,
Home period?
home period.
I don't remember if we put home period in there. Usually we will put that in for them when we meet with them during articulation, and we can verify that they have all of their requirements met.
Okay, good to go.
Okay. All right, Ms. Dunn.
Mine was the same question about home period.
Okay, and then again, like we mentioned earlier, if anyone didn't hear, if juniors are interested in graduating early, we will work on having those conversations during our articulation meetings. For now, you should pick a full load of classes. Ms. Passis?
Can you share this slide deck with the staff so that
yes,
we can like help students period 6 if need be as like a reference?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
We'll send it email.
Yeah, just because I have prep 5th period and I have no students, and so just in case I make sure I make do everything correctly, I want to help the 6th period freshmen.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Yes, we'll send that right out. Mr. Yearwood?
Thank you.
Yes, I had a student that wanted to know what PE individual sport was because it's not showing on the computer. But it's
showing on the computer.
yes, on the computer, but it's not in the course request form.
Okay, so that one is what we're using for the unified PE class, Miss Fabian's class. That's the course number for that one.
So 10th graders can take that or they can't? take it?
Yes, they can.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. House?
Yeah, similar to what Ms. Pass is saying, could you send out an all staff email with all these placeholder ones, including, did you say Asian American Pacific Islander Studies was GlobeHead?
Yes.
Okay, could
And
you
they
send out
are-
all those?
Yeah, they're all on the cards, but I'll resend the cards with the link to the PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Dunn?
Sorry if this has already been asked, but does photography satisfy your art requirement?
Photography does. We don't have it anymore, but if they took it
Freshman
before, yeah.
And their art is good. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end this one, and then we will re-sign on when period 6 starts for any students or teachers who have questions. You may have to be patient waiting in the waiting room, but we will get to everyone if we can. We also have the live FAQ document going, so I'll resend the link to that in the email as well. Thank you, everyone. I hope it worked out okay. I'm sure we'll get feedback from you guys later. So have a great day and thank you for your support.